Next, we have to discuss the term fertilization. The process of fertilization we also called syngamy. Syn refers to fusion. That is, gamete fusion we called syngamy. We also called it is oospermy. Ovum means egg. Egg and sperm unite during this process. Hence, we also called it as a oospermy. During the fertilization process, what happens? Haploid egg unite with haploid sperm and form a diploid zygote. Then we know zygote is the first stage of all organisms' life. Hence, the process of union of haploid egg means egg contain one set of chromosome and haploid sperm to form diploid zygote is called fertilization. Then fertilization, if you consider, fertilization is species specific, means the particular species sperm fertilize their own egg, or particular species egg fertilized by their own species sperm, but not foreign species. For example, egg of hibiscus fertilized with a sperm of hibiscus only, or egg of rose fertilized with rose sperm only, but not any foreign species sperm. Hence, fertilization is a species specific. And fertilization is irreversible, means once egg and sperm unite, zygote is formed. That zygote will not reversely give either egg or sperm. Hence, it is irreversible process. Then if you take zygote in all organisms, including animals as well as plants, always it is diploid in nature. Any type of life cycle is there. And it is formed by compulsory fertilization process. Then in all sexually reproducing organism, it is the first stage of a organism's life cycle. Because most of the students confuse with what? The one term, that is the first stage of life means we consider as a birth. No, zygote is the first stage of what? Organism's life cycle. Either if you take either plants or animals. But in case of a angiosperms, there is a existence of double fertilization and triple fusion. To know the meaning of this, what you say, a double fertilization and triple fusion process in case of angiosperm, once again we have to review the previous part, two important terms. One is male gametophyte development, where up to sperm you have to explain in brief, and female gametophyte development, and later we consider what is double fertilization and triple fusion. If we consider the development of a male gametophyte. As we know, once again, stamen is a unit of androecium. It having anther. If you take a transverse section of anther, we have four circular part called microsporangia. They are bounded by four walls: epidermis, endothelium, middle layer, and tapetum. Inside the tapetum, the pollen sac is present, which having sporogenous tissue. That porogenous tissue gives diploid cell we call pollen mother cell. That pollen mother cell, when undergo meiosis process, at that time there is a presence of or formation of haploid microspores. If these haploid microspores develops exine and intine, it become pollen grain. Then this pollen grain undergo mitosis and produce two haploid cells, one large vegetative cell which helps for nourishment of sperm, and another one generative cell. Next, that haploid generative cell undergo once again mitosis. As a result, there is a formation of two haploid sperms with one vegetative cell. This vegetative cell helps to nourish the what? A sperm, and especially there is a formation of a two haploid sperms. In such a way, during a male gametophyte development, the pollen grain develops finally or gives rise to two sperms. In most of the plants, the pollen grain shed in two cell stage, where one haploid vegetative cell and one haploid generative cell is there. In some plants, at the time of fertilization, the pollen grain may shed up in three cell stage. At that time, we have one haploid vegetative cell, two haploid sperms are present. This is what we call a male gametophyte development. If you consider the female gametophyte development, in ovule, or that we also called a megasporangium, sporogenous is there. That sporogenous tissue gives a megaspore mother cell that we call MMC. That megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis. As a result, there is a presence formation of haploid megaspore, and this process we call megasporogenesis. After megasporogenesis, the single megaspore out of four enlarges and form embryo sac. That embryo sac itself popularly known as a female gametophyte. Here first what happens, the mitosis of or mitotic division takes place, only the nuclear division takes place first, then followed by cytoplasmic division in later stage. By first mitosis, two nuclei are formed. By second time mitosis, four haploid nuclei are formed. Then by third mitosis, totally there is a formation of the 8 nuclei. 8 haploid nuclei are formed. And all these 8 haploid nuclei once formed, now cytoplasmic division and rearrangement of the generally a cells will be take place. Here now protoplasmic division is take place. There is a formation of totally 8 haploid nuclei, wherein the 3 cells tend towards cellazal end, 3 cells towards microphylar end, and one cell at center with two nuclei. In such a way, matured female gametophyte is formed. Suppose you take it is a callosal end of the embryo sac. It is a microphylar end. At that time, the callosal end having three antipodal cells. Whereas center we have central cell with two polar nuclei. Already we explained in detail in female gametophyte development. And central we have egg and two synergids together form a egg apparatus. In such a way, the female gametophyte is take place. Now, if we got a clear knowledge of how egg and sperm is formed, the process of fertilization is very simple. The egg present in the microphylar end of a female gametophyte combines with a one sperm and form a diploid zygote. It is what we call true fertilization, and it is a first fertilization. Then second, two polar nuclei of central cell combines with one more sperm, one more haploid sperm, form a special type of a nucleus we call pen, primary endosperm nucleus. We call it as a pen. This cell is called primary endosperm cell. Primary endosperm second cell we called. Now, first one, what we call true fertilization. Now it is the vegetative fertilization. During this vegetative fertilization, three nuclei are fused. Hence, this process is called triple fusion. Therefore, in case of angiosperm, two fertilization is take place. First fertilization, that is true fertilization. Second fertilization, vegetative fertilization. During vegetative fertilization, two polar nuclei of central cell, one haploid sperm nuclei combines. That process what we call the name triple fusion. Here three haploid nuclei are fused into, hence the process is called triple fusion. If you consider post-fertilization events, the egg unite with the sperm, form zygote. Therefore, after fertilization, egg present in case of megasporangium become zygote. Then side two synergids are there. These synergids having pyriform apparatus, they guide the pollen tube to enter into the directly egg apparatus. Now their role is completed. Synergids undergo disintegration or they disappears. The central cell we have called it as a secondary nucleus having two polar nuclei combines with one more sperm during triple fusion double fertilization process. They become primary endosperm nucleus. The primary endosperm nucleus later form endosperm which helps for nourishment of developing embryo. Then antipodal cell present in embryo sac, or we say female gametophyte, they undergo disintegration, means they disappears. Now what happens? The ovule after fertilization become seed. Then micropyle of ovule now become micropyle of seed. That a small aperture, even whatever present in ovule remain in seed also. During seed germination, through the micropylar pore, the seed get water and germination takes place. Then the integuments of ovule become seed coating. The outer seed coating we call testa, developed from outer integument. Then inner coating of seed is called tegumen. It is develops from inner integument. Now the ovary become fruit. Ovary wall becomes a fruit wall. The fruit wall popularly we call pericarp. Carpus refers to fruit. The peripheral region of the fruit is pericarp. The next structure, the style and stigma shrivels off, means shut down. Stamens shed off. Then petals and sepals shed off. Now the stalk of flower we call pedicel become stalk of fruit. In such a way, after fertilization, all these important changes are take place. That means egg and sperm unite to form zygote. Zygote later develops into embryo. Embryo gives young plant. Then synergids, they present on either side of the egg. They having a piliform apparatus guide the pollen tube to enter into the egg apparatus. They also disintegrate because after fertilization they have no role. Central cell we call secondary nucleus, which having two haploid polar nuclei combines with second sperm and form a triploid cell we call primary endosperm cell. That nucleus is called pen, primary endosperm nucleus, that develops endosperm. Then antipodal cells disintegrates, ovule become seed, then micropyle of ovule become micropyle of seed. The small aperture even found in seed is also the micropyle of ovule. The integuments of the ovule become seed coating. Outer integument gives testa, inner integument gives tegumen. Ovary become fruit and ovary wall become fruit wall, that we call pericarp. Rest of all flower parts are not useful. That is style, stigma, stamens, petals, sepals are shed off. Stalk of the flower pedicel now become stalk of the fruit. But actually major change, whatever we observed during post-fertilization, mainly four important parts. One is a endosperm formation. This is the process where the nourishing tissue is developed, that endosperm nourish the what? Developing embryo. Because before endosperm formation, nuchal is there. That nucellar tissue helps to nourish the embryo sac or female gametophyte. Whereas the another step is embryo formation. The zygote become embryo. Later embryo develops into young plantlet. Then the next one, seed formation. The fertilized ovule itself we call the name seed. That seed formation takes place. Then lastly, the most important, fruit formation. These are the four important terms given in our textbook in style that we have to study. Endosperm formation, embryo formation, seed formation and fruit formation. All these four important post-fertilization event we have to consider in the next part.